have a Ben and Jerry's once a day as a treat, a reward.
Great way to get fat. Get fish food and get half baked and kind of mix them together. That's a really great idea.
Have you ever done 2 fish food in a day or just?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember making protein shakes with ice cream.
I don't really think there's anything wrong with that.
I think a good tactic is buffets.
Chinese food. Like Chinese food is very hard to eat in a healthy way. The fucking rice, they got like fried rice.
Shit, I'm hungry.
Yo, the way that my mouth started watering.
Drink your calories, right?
Yeah, buddy.
The fogginess like midday is going to be awesome, and you're going to be super pumped to eat again, which is perfect because it falls right into our plan where you're going to get fatter and fatter and fatter. I think, some of the physiques and stuff and some of the stuff that we've seen, like, from the Olympia and stuff like that, like these guys, the physiques are so advanced and so crazy that when you just see like a video, of somebody just kind of talking normal on Instagram, maybe their shirt's off or maybe they're working out, they're obviously not going to look like some of the people that are competing that are in the Olympia. And so I think our image of like the way that people look is it's got massively warped, because you could see somebody that is, you see someone that's, 15% body fat, let's say. They got a little bicep vein. Maybe the person's 50 years old. Yeah. Maybe they squat, 315 or something. And you kind of just, I think at first glance, you're like, that ain't shit. Mm-hmm. But that's a big deal. Like, that's unbelievable. That's beating the odds. That's being way more advanced than most people. And that's something that someone should get a pat on the back for.
Mm-hmm. True. They should get a pat on the back. One thing I wonder about is this, it's interesting because you think of like sports, right? When we watch sports and we're in awe of like basketball players, we're typically saying like college players or NBA players, even soccer. Mm-hmm. It's like pro players or people who've been at it for a while. So, I mean, I get what you're saying, but on the other side of it, I'm just like, well, I mean, you are right. They're impressive, but they're not as impressive as the most impressive.
Right.
So should we be impressed? I mean, we should, because it is a thing. But
or should we be more impressed because like maybe that guy like had to, who knows where that guy came from?
That's true.
Who knows like how far back the person was to be able to get to that spot. I mean, we love these stories, right? The further back someone starts, the kind of the better. The Francis Ngannou, being born in Cameroon and just not having access to a lot of stuff that other people have access to, and then making himself into something and having like living the ultimate crazy American dream story that still is like ongoing,
Yeah. But dude, he had access to sand dunes.
I know. That's got to be put in every gym now.
Mm-hmm.
The sand dune training.
Yeah.
I think today's topic we're going to do a little reverse psychology. We're going to talk about the easiest way to get fat. And I've just been kind of thinking on some stuff, and like I think that we have some differences a lot of times when it comes to nutrition, and we have some differences when it comes to like muscle mass and how to acquire it. And I've just been kind of thinking a lot of these thoughts, but I was like, you know what? Seems to be a pretty good common theme when people mention and they say how it is somebody got to be very overweight. Mm-hmm. It seems to be like almost it's a sensitive topic. It sucks to be heavy, sucks to be on that side of things. But I think it's probably more agreeable. Like, what are the agreeable things? What are what's some of the common ground that we might have if we're discussing what's the easiest way to gain body fat?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the easiest ways is don't have physical coping mechanisms. So like, have processed food in the house, and when you're feeling down, eat to feel better. Cause I mean, shit, a Snickers. Who doesn't feel better after a Snickers?
It works.
Ben and Jerry's. Who doesn't feel better after that?
It that's the hard part, is that it actually works.
It does.
I think it's almost easier to point out like the illusion of like a drug or the allure of a drug, and it's easier to have like maybe a more rational conversation and say, yeah, I get it. like alcohol, it kind of puts my life on pause, and I probably really shouldn't do it that much. I do feel better in the moment. It helps me for 2 hours. And then after that's really kind of when more of the negative side effects start to happen, and the next day is a little harder and stuff like that. But with food, the high of it is really nice. The kind of I guess maybe dopamine that you get from it. I'm not sure if there's serotonin involved in there, but it really feels like it scratches an itch that you have. Mm-hmm. It feels like it does it like perfectly. You're like, man, that was exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
I don't know what makes these things dance around in your head either. You know, like something every once in a while just kind of flash in there. Pizza will come around, or ice cream, candy bars.
Oh yeah.
I know a guy recently went nuts on candy bars.
Any sugary snacks, man. Any sugary snacks.
And then they say like for like a drug addict, like the thrill of the chase of getting the actual drug is like also part of the experience. I'll say, I won't say fun. With like getting food, there's a lot of that too, right? When you place your order and all of a sudden you're like, oh, DoorDash is almost here, or like, oh, they're gonna call my number next at In-N-Out, and then you get it and it's extremely satisfying. You're like, that was worth every second of that wait.
And thank God, as human beings, we have this like amazing ability to pair stuff together. You know, so you're like, what happens? Oh, that's my stomach. You hear that?
I heard that. Yeah.
My stomach is like, this is not a cool topic. My stomach's like, you're going to get fat again. Here we go. But you look at like a tortilla chip and you're like, well, that's pretty good in the salsa. You know, that's pretty good in the pico. It's pretty delicious. But what happens if I dip it in the ranch?
Oh gosh.
Or what happens if I get a little pico on there and some ranch? You know, it's like your mind just sometimes will run wild with like how fat you want to try to make something,
or when
pile it up.
Yeah, jeez, burping already. Or when it comes to like the chocolate bars, it's like, you know, what kind of good protein shake can you mix it with if you want to be healthy? But if you want to just, you know, have fun with it, then just like some strawberry chocolate milk or something, or you know, milkshake by far with chocolate is. I
didn't even think about that side of it. Yeah, you pair it like you're pairing like a fucking fine wine with a steak.
Take a sip, take a bite.
Oh yeah.
Put it together in the mouth.
And you're like, oh, how's this Merlot with your steak? It's like, how's this strawberry quick with your Snickers bars and peanut butter cups?
Strawberry quick, like Nesquik.
Yeah, it's delicious.
Oh, I used to love that shit.
That's really good.
It is really good.
Strawberry banana Fairlife is pretty goddamn good though too.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but it is good.
And the vanilla, the chocolate, I mean, they're all really good. But the strawberry banana, like I think that strawberry and banana, like fake flavored stuff, is super interesting. It's like probably better than taking a strawberry and a banana and putting it together.
100%. 100%. You know, the funny thing, if we take it back real quick, let's make it kind of healthy. Like if you do take one of those Fairlifes and you put it with like one of those Quest protein bars, you get a lot of the same shit. You know, at least some of the same feeling. I do that.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up because this is how I came to this idea, this topic.
Really?
Was through the back door. You guys know how much I love coming through the back door. So
100%. I
was back there again and I came flying right through the back door. But no, I came to this through ultra processed food, and people are always slamming ultra processed food. But nowadays, ultra processed food could be leverage. Yeah. You know, on Instagram I made a post, and people were like, "There's probably $5,000 worth of food in there." People made a big deal about how much money they think these bars cost or whatever. But I had a drawer full of Quest bars and Legendary Foods and just a bunch of different snacks that help me stay on point, help me stay on the diet. And I know we've talked many times on this show about like almost trying to eliminate snacks, but what I meant more by snacks was things that don't have protein in them. And I do think that you can utilize processed foods, and I think you can utilize diet sodas. And I know there's like people get all freaked out about sucralose and these different vegetable oils. We've had people come on the show and talk about them, but I think the most important thing for people to do is to figure out a way for them to feel good about themselves. And a lot of times you're going to do that through the management of your body weight and how you feel and how you look, and the perception of how you feel about yourself. And a lot of times that's accomplished through losing some weight. So I have found for myself that a lot of these snacks help me to stay on point. And even my steak shake, that's a processed food. Like it's, we took a bunch of different ingredients and slammed them together and made them into a powder and threw them in a bag and sell them, So I think there's a kind of time and place sometimes for some of these things. Some people may disagree, but for me, I have leaned into other aspects of diet before, and I just haven't felt comfortable with it. I haven't really loved it. I did 100 days of the carnivore diet. That was pretty much this savory food the entire time, and it was delicious. But there's no sweet anything in there. I think maybe I had some diet sodas and stuff in there, but it seems more fun to me, being somebody that grew up having sweet foods as like a reward, having them on occasion for like dessert, having them at holidays and birthdays, celebrations. Just feels more normal to me. It feels way more comfortable and allows me to still progress. So that's kind of how I came to some of this idea. I was like, man, ultra processed foods actually, while they can be a recipe for disaster and they can be something that is a really fast gateway for you to gain a lot of body fat, if you select the correct ones, they could be something that helps assist you to stay on a diet for a long period of time.
And they're pretty hard to kind of go wrong with. Like, Quest bars, you could have a few, and after a certain point, you're going to be like, okay, I've had enough. It's not as easy to eat like 5 Quest bars versus eating 5 normal candy bars, right? It'll hit you because of the amount of protein it has in it. So these are, even though there are processed foods, and we mentioned staying away from processed foods, these are some that, like, if you did have a day where you're like, I'm going to go to town, you're going to town on those. It's not nearly as bad and might not be bad at all versus going to town on shit that has no protein in it.
I like when you say going down on.
That's right. It's been a while since you said that. Going down on some food.
I said going to town, not going down, but I should say going down.
Yeah. No, what I was going to say, though, is like those foods aren't necessarily designed to keep you eating them either, right? Like potato chips, they got all these mad scientists that are there working on it, trying to figure out how do we get people to not get full off of this food.
Oh, they figured it out.
Yeah, they did. But even though you don't get full, right, it's still going somewhere. That's the shitty part.
Can't stop eating it.
No.
Ain't that a bitch how you can like easily take down like 1,500 calories worth of that shit and you didn't even feel it? Like you don't feel full. Like, but you could have had just like 15 to 2,000 calories of that and you just don't feel full.
I think a little tub of Ben & Jerry's is probably in that category, right? It's like maybe 1,500 calories or so.
All right, let's pull it up real quick and let's see. I think you're right.
I think it's somewhere like it's over 1,000.
Oh, easily.
It might be like 1,200, 1,500. But to your point, 1,200 calories of chicken breast would be rough. 1,200 calories of chicken breast and some vegetables. Not saying it would be like impossible to eat by any means, but it would be rough to get through. It'd be hard to get through. And by the time you are finished chewing all that stuff, it just gets to be dry and bland. And at some point, your body's just like, your taste buds are like, yo, I'm done with this. You got to select something else.
I don't know what this is from. It says vanilla ice cream, Ben & Jerry's. A serving is $3.30, and then the whole thing is $9.90.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's just without all the candy in there.
Yeah, it's just the vanilla ice cream one. Oh, here we go. This is a good one. 1120 calories per.
That's cookies and cream for a 16-ounce tub.
Could you type in give me s'more?
Nsima's going to go on DoorDash.
Give me s'more. I haven't had that shit in, must be over.
Is it just called give me or gimme?
Gimme. S''MORE, s'more.
Half-baked.
S'more.
Half-baked.
Fish food.
You're a fish food fan. You've mentioned this before.
Fish food. I know the fudge fish and the marshmallow in there and the caramel.
$12.40 for gimme some more.
Hey, shit. So that means there is a day that I had like 24.80 because I had 2 of them bitches.
But at least it has some substance, though. Like, I don't know. It feels like.
How much is in the fish food?
Nsima could be $3.50.
Oh, dog. Easily.
Fish food.
It's in the fish food. What we got? What we got? Have you ever done 2 fish food in a day or just?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
1180.
Yeah.
1180. Okay.
See, your idea of do both works for a lot of things.
Like, as in, if you have 2 tubs, you eat them both.
Like a blonde and a brunette. I mean, like when you're talking about like this kind of stuff.
Both.
Do both.
So this is one of the ways that like you could, get fat, have a Ben and Jerry's once a day as a treat, a reward.
A great way to get fat is to, get fish food and get half baked, and then scoop out some and kind of mix them together. That's a really great idea.
You know what I think is actually an even better idea? I've actually done this on like a protein cake or protein brownies where you get like that, but then you will take a little bit of Ben and Jerry's and put it on top and melt it on top of that. But instead of it being a protein brownie, have it just be like real brownies. And that tastes amazing.
Yeah. I remember making protein shakes with ice cream.
Oh yeah, I've done it before.
as in like, oh, I'm like, gonna gain like a mass gainer or whatever. No, I was just having liquid calories that happen to have a scoop of protein in it.
I don't really think there's anything wrong with that.
I agree.
I think the hard part was would be if it's somebody that's actually really trying to like lose weight,
right?
And they're very heavy. Odds are you're gonna like scoop in way too much, right? Just like kind of like peanut butter. It's like you got to just take it out of people's diet.
Yeah.
Like just you're not allowed to have peanut butter.
Oh, but I had Ritz crackers and peanut butter a couple nights ago. That shit was phenomenal.
It's a great combo.
Yeah, but
tell me more about this. Tell me about the setting. Like, how'd this happen? You were sitting in front of the TV. Or
Nope. I'm
trying to picture. Like, is he dipping them in there? Is he?
Ritz crackers
by yourself.
It's kind of incredible.
Like,
yeah, no. So so all the red lights were on, and then just the one kitchen like kind of night light was on.
So the red lights are on. It's helping your metabolism.
Yes.
We learned that recently. So you're burning a lot more calories by eating under the red light.
Your glucose metabolism is optimized.
There you go. Thank you guys for laying that out there. Yeah. So here's where it maybe gets a little bit weird and unhealthy. So I got the scale out, and then I put the jar of peanut butter on the scale, zeroed it out, and then I got a tiny ice cream spoon, and that's what I used to scoop out. And I scooped out little by little till I got to 1 full serving. But each little scoop that I got, scoop peanut butter, Ritz cracker in the mouth. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It tasted so good. And I was like, I'm going to stop when it says negative 32 grams. So that's what I did. And it was really good. And I was able to just stop right there after 1 serving. Maybe not the most healthiest or like best advice for anybody that can't control it, but
that sounds like one of the most miraculous things I've ever heard anybody say.
It was so good. I was so happy with it. Yeah,
I would not have been successful. I don't think.
Isn't there like a Ritz cracker thing that has peanut butter in the middle, or am I tripping?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, little sandwiches.
Yeah, those sandwiches. Really good.
Yo, the way that my mouth started watering. Like right now, there's so much wetness at the back of my throat.
Moisture.
Juicy throated.
Bleep that part out.
No, I just remember like how well those Ritz crackers melt in your mouth with each bite. It's like they automatically just break down with your saliva.
It's embarrassing. It's like drool, like a dog. Like, it's like, oh shit, fuck.
They make you drool.
You're like slobber just hit my fucking leg. You're like, what is going on?
Like, sorry, dude. It's the Ritz crackers and peanut butter. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, I got it. No worries.
The best thing is like you don't just eat one Ritz cracker at a time because they melt so well. It's like put 2 or 3 in your mouth at a time and just let them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that peanut butter's different though. It like can last longer somehow. Like, does that make sense? Like it doesn't just break down the way like the jar of peanut butter stuff would.
Who made fake peanut butter? Like, who is this person?
It's got to be Mr. Reese's.
Yeah.
For making like that convectious style sugar.
Yeah, it's got like a crunch to it or something.
It's like a powdered compressed.
I'm so fat I looked into it. He had like a machine that like supposedly like had stuff like gunked up in it, and it made it like a burnt flavor.
Oh.
And he thought like people would be turned off by this like burnt flavor. And he's like, I'm gonna get rid of that. So he like got new machines, and then he made new ones, and people didn't like them.
Whoa.
Interesting.
And so he had to go back to the old batch.
Wow. Can we get one of those machines?
We got to get Mr. Reese's on the show.
Dude, yeah, man.
Wherever he might be.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's probably long gone, but
I hope not. Maybe.
So this is still our guide to like if you're trying to get really fat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? Okay. Well, another thing you guys could do is just like stay up late often, right? Because you're gonna feel really hungry the next day, so it's gonna be much easier for you to overeat on almost anything.
Cut back on your sleep. Maybe wake up in the middle of the night and raid the pantry.
Snack at night. Yeah. Because it'll help you feel better when you go back to sleep.
Yeah, really quick, Nsima, can you go a little bit further into that? Like, why would staying up late make it more difficult the following day to stay on the diet?
Yeah. Well, people who've been listening to the show already know, but ghrelin, your hunger hormone, and secretes way more the next day, and leptin, the hormone that helps you feel full, doesn't secrete as much. So the next day, like, you're going to be eating, but you're going to continue feeling hungry when you eat, and when you won't feel as full as soon, so you can take in more food, and that will make it so much easier to see pounds go up on the scale.
Yeah, and then if you're like relying on willpower, it's going to make that like decision making a lot harder when your body is like, no, you need more food, and while you're at it, you need more calories, so let's reach for the yummier food that has more calories, and you don't even realize what's going on, and you're like, you know, a couple sleeves deep in Oreos with milk, because that's delicious.
And if you're on a bulk, right, you can make the excuse and say, well, the pounds I'm seeing on the scale are actually muscle, and they're not. They're not.
Yeah, you know, pairing stuff together again is like, obviously, like, you want to pair stuff together sometimes because you want stuff to be flavorful. You don't want bland food. You want to have some good pop in there. So sometimes it's good to throw in some spices and some seasonings and some barbecue sauce or whatever. But if you're just trying to get as fat as possible, it's like, let's mix in a lot of ingredients. And that's where you get, you know, you're like, end up with things like Chinese food. Like, Chinese food is very hard to eat in a healthy way, because you usually have like some fried chicken and it's got some sort of amazing sauce on it.
Orange chicken.
But the sauce has fat and sugar in it, and the chicken has fat in it.
Chicken's usually breaded too. A little.
The fucking rice, you know, they got like fried rice.
Shit, I'm hungry.
Pork fried rice.
That hit me hard for some reason.
Yeah, it's so good.
But that's got the little carrots and the parsley and, you know, the greens and stuff in it.
Prebiotic fibers kind of cancel out all the calories that you just ate, pretty much.
And if it's not enough, they have fortune cookies at the end that are also really, really damn good.
I never liked fortune cookies. You ate the fortune cookies?
Dude, it's just a waffle cone folded in a fortune cookie.
Yeah, they're not very exciting, but yeah, I would eat them.
Yeah, all the time.
You know, I'm a fat guy. Gonna eat every cookie that comes my way.
Yeah. Also, so the other day, not being mean, because the food was incredible, but we were just having pulled pork, so like slow cooker pulled pork. Didn't know what kind of sauce was on it. I started we were making like little sliders or whatever. So like I ended up just piling a bunch of the pulled pork on my plate, and I just got like one of the biscuits or whatever it was.
Biscuits.
Yeah, just to try to like, or let me just load up on the meat, and then I'll have a little bit of this as a side. I took a bite. I was like, oh my God, it was so good. It tasted phenomenal. And I'm like, dude, what did you guys, put in this? It's like, oh, Sweet Baby Ray's. And I'm like, oh no. And then it would just so happen, because my phone probably heard that term or whatever. And then the next thing I see on Instagram was somebody breaking down like how much sugar is in a bottle of Sweet Baby. It's like almost like 2/3 of the bottle is sugar. And I'm like, no wonder why this is fantastic. So if you want to, or if you were to gain some weight, putting the full sugar sauces all over your food makes it taste delicious. It makes it easy to eat. It makes it easy to eat a lot more, and it adds a shit ton of sugar and all kinds of these extra calories that you wouldn't normally get if you weren't doing that.
Power Project family, we talk about beef and meat all the time on the podcast. That's why we've partnered with Certified Piedmontese Beef. But did you know this? That 85% of all grass-fed, grass-finished beef in the United States is imported from other countries? 85%.
Damn.
But Certified Piedmontese is made in the U.S. of A.
America.
Fuck yeah. So go out and get some of the best tasting, some of the leanest, some of the best beef from Piedmontese. Andrew, how can they get it?
Absolutely. So you guys can head over to cpbeef.com and at checkout enter promo code POWER to save 25% off your entire order. And if your order is $150 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Again, cpbeef.com. Links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes.
Fuck yeah.
Drink your calories, right?
Yeah, buddy.
That's a good one. Always have some Gatorade on hand or some Coke or some Pepsi, and make sure it doesn't say 0 on there, because that would mean it has 0 calories.
Yeah, some good fruit juices would be fantastic.
Yeah, orange juice, apple juice. You want to get your kids fat, get them in on the party too. You know, serve them up some bread and some butter, and start mix flavors together and get them some juice, and just keep feeding them all day long. Make sure to get some macaroni and cheese. Macaroni and cheese is an amazing meal. Very complete, healthy meal for a child.
In their developing years.
I always thought like a kid's menu just needs to be like lit on fire.
Yes.
Like this, there's no place for that. I don't understand. It's like, okay, the kids menu has a bunch of fried food on there. Like, really? It doesn't seem right. It seems actually really mean. I mean, I get it in some sense. I understand it's like they're supposed to be like easier foods, and kids are kind of simple. They don't like to eat. They're not normally conditioned to eat like more complicated stuff, or they're not conditioned to eat like sushi and things like that. But if you work with your kid from the time they're really little, they'll actually like a lot of these things.
I do feel for parents a little bit, you know, because like I don't have a kid. But, you know, one thing I do hear from parents is like, they won't eat this, or they won't eat that, or they won't eat that. And the thing is like, damn, I get that. I can see how frustrating that would be if like your kid's been so conditioned that they just won't eat certain foods.
It can be really difficult. Your kid could throw it across the room.
Right,
they cry. Like all kinds of crazy things can happen. But, you know, Andrew has the most current experience with all this. And you could maybe share some of your experiences right now. But in my own dealings with my own children, you know, they got used to what we gave them. And when we would try to make better choices, or when we would try to like restrict, you know, we would get pushback. And then so we started to, when they were young enough, we would just switch stuff out. And it was like, we're just going to deal with this. Like as parents, we're going to work on dealing with this with our kid. And our kid's going to sit there and cry and scream and like probably not be happy. But we made a mistake. We gave them a little bit too much in the beginning, or gave them too many options. And now it's kind of like pizza all the time and junky food all the time. So let's take it a step back, recognize we made a mistake. And even though the kid's going to be pissed, let's just take the time to do this. It's going to suck for everybody. But it's like that kind of stuff takes like 2 weeks.
There we go.
Not a huge deal. And there are parents though that do have, sometimes there's some children have like autism and stuff like that. And that's a completely different thing. And that's not anything I'm even talking about. I don't have any experience with that. But with my children, it wasn't that hard to switch them over.
Yeah. So with my son, that was my like, I don't know, it's easy to say it was one of my top like 1-2 priorities, was making sure that his diet was in check. And I'm not saying I'm better than any other parent or anything. But
you might be.
I make a shit ton of mistakes, and I'm going to make many, many more. But one thing I can be extremely proud of is my son's diet. And he's, you know, he's 2 years old. He's going to be 3 in January, and he doesn't know what candy is. It's around everywhere all the time, and he has no interest in it. And, you know, I've heard from other parents like, oh, I wish my kid didn't know it existed. And I'm like, well, you know, you introduced it to, like, you know, like they didn't find it on their own. I mean, I guess whatever, who knows? Yeah. Again, not trying to judge or be mean or anything. The hardest part about raising my son to eat the way he does now is like, I had to be a dick to a lot of people. People would try to feed him sweets all the time. Like, he can't have that. What do you mean he can't have that? He doesn't have sugar. He doesn't have sugar? Like, yeah, he doesn't eat that. Like, oh. Okay. And like, so they would be like weird vibes towards me.
Yeah.
It can be a big deal too if he hasn't had sugar, and then all of a sudden he's got 15-20 grams of sugar out of nowhere.
Right. Yeah.
He's zipping
fruit,
around.
Right.
Yeah. So when I say like, it's sort of like if I said, he doesn't have carbs, you know, people know like, oh, okay, so he doesn't have pizza, he doesn't have breads or whatever, but it's like, yes, he has fruits and vegetables.
There we go.
He has had like some homemade stuff that had like sweeteners and sugar in it, but like he's not eating candy or anything like that. And like I said, I had to be like kind of like real stern and strict with other adults when trying to feed my son. And sometimes he would start crying, and you know, it's like people would want to give in to give him stuff, and I'm like, you aren't giving in because you want him to not like to be to experience this, you're giving in because you don't want to hear him cry right now. So like me and him will go hang out somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that like got really frustrating is like they would look at him and be like, oh, I want to give this to you, but apparently I can't. And I'm like, hey, let's stop with the passive aggressive stuff. You know, like let's just understand this is how I'm raising my son.
Let me translate that for anyone who's listening that tried this. Shut the fuck up about trying to feed my fucking kid and get that shit out of his fucking face before I grapple and I just choke the fuck out of you. Andrew, you can continue.
Thank you for that translation.
I'll be your mean translator.
I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
So anyway, so my son for breakfast, he eats a lot of, so he's been crushing bananas. So if there's one thing where it's like, hey, maybe you're having too much of that, it's bananas. He fucking loves bananas. But out of all the things, all things considered, like, wow, bananas is the worst thing that he eats. This is fucking cool.
Nice.
He eats bananas. He eats a shit ton of eggs. Whenever the steaks or like ground beef comes out, he's like screaming because he wants that. And he eats, like if we go to In-N-Out, he'll eat 2 Flying Dutchmen, which is fucking phenomenal for being 2 years old.
He eats 2 full Flying
He eats 2 full Flying Dutchmen, which is going to be scary once he's like 10 because like it's already really expensive. You know, hopefully the economy like works itself out. So what I'm getting at is we've never introduced him to anything quote unquote bad, whatever it may be. Like the most processed food that he'll eat is like I might share some of my bread with him. And even that, he's just like, meh, that was cool, but like I'd rather have like eggs or something. Yeah. And so it's just like the exposure and normalizing, you know, the like steak and fruits and vegetables. Like it's, yeah, it was really cool because I started with a clean blank slate and I never once wavered from that.
Let's go.
Over time, sure, he's going to have experiences of his own. But hopefully by then he can be like, oh, okay, that's not just like an everyday food, or that's not normal, or, oh shit, that is candy, that is ice cream. Like if I gave it to him right now, he would just, his like head would explode. He'd be like, what the heck was that? So yeah, we're just, being really, really strict on the diet and protecting him right now while we can.
I think it's the best way to start. You know, imagine if all of us had that, you know, from the time we were young. Yeah. Just even like, not even necessarily having your kid like be super strict, but just the importance of nutrition and how valuable it can be. See if you can play this clip here. This is an old SNL skit. We're just going to play like a couple seconds of it. It's pretty amazing.
Let me get the audio rolling. So this is Taco Town. Okay.
Taco Town.
My favorite place.
On the outside, this is pretty big. It gets bigger because we bake it in a corn husk filled with pico de gallo.
Ooh, hey.
Authentic Parisian crepe filled with egg, Gruyere, merguez sausage, and portobello mushrooms. Eat it now? Sure. But not before we take the whole thing and wrap that in Chicago-style deep dish meat lovers pizza.
That actually looks like it'd be pretty good.
Oh, that'd be
honestly.
amazing.
Well, it's not a
Let's see if we can DoorDash some of these to the show.
That looks like it got fucked up, though.
Ooh, a pancake?
Yeah, blueberry.
And then deep fry the whole thing.
It's got to stay in place. Oh.
Well, that's a great way to get fat right there.
Taco Town.
But those commercials, man, it's like the old Taco Bell, even probably current ones. I just don't see commercials anymore. But they'd always wrap it and put new things and add more shit. It's just more America.
What would you
Let's
guys
go.
get from Taco Bell?
I wouldn't go to Taco Bell.
Never?
I'm not a fucking peasant.
Yeah, me neither. But you had to get, so like they had like chalupas, right? Those had like the soft, fluffy shell. And then they had the regular hard shell tacos. You got to eat those in combination because you get the soft and then you get the crunchy. And you just go back and forth, left and right, so that way you can experience everything all at once.
You know what's kind of weird about a place like Taco Bell?
All of it?
Yeah. Thinking about it right now, I'm thinking like everything there is kind of the same.
It's the exact same.
Yeah, everything like kind. I mean, I know it can kind of sort of taste a little different because there's like a different sauce. There's a different crunch.
This one has cheese.
Thing.
That one doesn't. Sour cream, that sort of thing.
But like if you were drunk, they would all be like, they'd all seem like the same shit to you, you know? It's not like you would, and even just if you're sober and you had some, you would just be like, I don't know if you would think anything was like really way different than anything else. It's all very like similar stuff smashed together.
Just wrapped differently.
Also, if you're trying to be fat, we would have to not eat protein because you want to be hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Minimize that shit.
So don't eat a lot of protein. Keep the protein way, way down. And then also we can't lift. And if you're trying to be really fat, you're going to have to like not lift because we don't want to gain muscle mass.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to try to allow our body to, develop some insulin resistance, because if we lift, then some of the carbohydrates and stuff that we're consuming, they might end up in the muscle cells rather than the fat cells.
We don't want that.
Yeah.
And I'd rather store them away for later in my love handles or my boobs than to have them go to my biceps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's true. But even if you lift a little bit and you just follow all these practices we're talking about as far as your diet's concerned, you can still get pretty fat. Still get quite fat.
But it won't be the same look.
It won't be the same look.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be the same look. I think a good tactic is buffets.
Ooh.
I don't know. When's the last time that you guys... Well, we went to that fucking Brazilian steakhouse place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was trying to like get a lot of food in, I'd go to Chinese buffets maybe once or twice a week when I was in my early 20s and just go to town. That helped me gain a lot of weight.
Yeah, buffet has fucking everything, right? I mean, you can just go nuts there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then probably after the buffet, I mean, you probably don't want to go on a 10-minute walk, right? You'd probably want to just go sit down somewhere.
Well, the want is going to be automatically a sit down. Who wants to walk after you eat at a buffet? You're so full. You probably should walk, but nah.
I think that's
what
the
I'm
great
saying.
thing about this plan is that it's going to encourage you to get fatter and fatter, because you're not going to want, like, just trust me, when you do the plan that Nsima is going to write out for everybody, it's a 6-week plan. Once you get to like week 2, you're not going to want to move. You're going to want to, your couch is going to be imprinted with where you normally sit. Everyone's going to know exactly where you sit, because you're not going to really be moving from there a whole lot.
And you're going to be so used to eating so much sugar that at this point, it'll probably feel really good. Because, after you like don't eat sugar for a while and then you add a bunch of it back and it doesn't feel great. But after you do this for a while and make a habit out of it, it'll feel nice.
The fogginess like midday is going to be awesome when you're at work. You get that crash and you just feel super tired and all you can think about is going home.
It's the norm.
And you're going to be super pumped to eat again, which is perfect because it falls right into our plan where you're going to get fatter and fatter and fatter.
And it might also be a good idea to start smoking copious amounts of marijuana, because it will make you quite hungry. You know what I mean? So like if you now you have the munchies and you're high.
I don't know if you should have released that. I thought that was going to be an ebook.
It's fine if they know the secret.
Okay.
It's fine. But like if you're trying to eat a lot of food and get the munchies and eat even if you're not really that hungry, just smoke. Smoke a lot. Smoke a lot. So you have a hot date coming up and you look in your closet and all you see are the old, ugly clothes that you usually wear and you're going to wear tonight. It's time to end that, guys. That's why we've partnered with Vori Clothing, because they have some amazing athleisure clothes that you can wear in the gym when working out, but also clothes that you can wear on a date or during Hanukkah or whatever. You can wear these clothes wherever and they feel amazing. Some of our favorites are the Ponte Performance line, which has dream knit fabric, which literally feels so soft on your skin. But they also have this is the Rise tee, also soft, also feels nice and fits great. And they have a lot of amazing clothes that you need to check out to step your fashion game up. We're trying to help you out. Andrew, where can they get it?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys got to head over to Vori.com/power project. That's VUORI.com/power project, and you'll automatically receive 20% off your order. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Let's bring up some of this clip. Larry Wheels recently did a Physique?
He did classic bodybuilding.
Classic
at the Amateur
bodybuilding.
Olympia.
And congrats to him. Larry Wheels is just absolutely incredible athlete. But post-show, he threw on some weight. I think he gained 53 pounds.
In 5 days.
In 5 days. Man.
Dude,
Let's listen to some of this.
So, believe it or not, but I weighed in just 48 hours ago at 232 pounds. As of right now, I weigh 284 pounds. What? I don't even think I've
Still looks lean as hell.
consumed enough fluid and solid food to add up to 40 pounds inside of my body right now. I just don't understand where it all came from. But I'm going to try and backtrack for you guys and help you understand how I got here today. So, immediately after the show, the first thing I did is went to my favorite burger spot.
Pause. one thing just to pay a little bit of attention to is his breathing pattern. I think that's one of the funnest parts about this. Just pay attention to his breathing. All right.
Guys,
Unbelievable.
I had 2 bacon double cheeseburgers with a large fries. Then I went home, took a 2-hour break, still starving, stomach already engorged and stretching and uncomfortable, and went to Ruth Chris Steakhouse to indulge in a very nice 16-ounce ribeye steak with a side of the best sweet potato mash in the world. The sweet potato casserole at Ruth Chris, out of this world. Even better than Boston Market, dare I say. Then I went home.
Market?
And I was
Very
feeling a bit
specific.
peckish, so I had a Pop-Tart, a whole bag, which is about 500 calories or so. And even after that, not satisfied, went downstairs, stomach even more stretched out than this right here, and had a couple noodles. Went to bed on an absolutely full stomach, slept like a baby. I take that back. I was tossing and turning the whole night.
Oh.
Stomach in absolute knots. I was declaring war in my stomach.
Pause.
Okay?
It's got to be farting like fucking crazy at this point, right?
Easily.
Just smashing the toilet too, right?
Easily.
Damn.
A Pop-Tart.
Unless it wasn't, well, it might have just been liquid coming out because when you do a show and you do a binge like this, because I binged, but I didn't gain that much weight. I gained like 12 to 15 pounds, but you kind of don't, the shit that's coming out is kind of water. It's kind of water.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. I
What's
ended
a normal-ish weight for people to gain?
it depends on like how much they weighed on stage.
So like a percentage of your weight, maybe you gain 10%, 5 to 10% sound reasonable?
5 to 10%. 5 to 10%. Like 10% would be quite a bit. So at most you'd want it to be maybe 5%.
Okay.
I went from like 227 to around 240, right? But he went from 230 to 280 something. Like that's different, dog.
It's got to be insane for like your blood pressure and everything. I mean, the body is amazing. It can get used to all kinds of different things, but and you have to keep in mind, Larry Wheels is a huge person, and he's been that big before.
Yeah.
So it's not like his body went to some weight that he's never been close to before. He's been huge for a long ass time.
And his body weight will probably come down a bit.
It'll stabilize.
It'll stabilize. But
I think a gallon of water is approximately like 8 pounds. I believe that's right. So you have a couple he's probably fairly depleted.
yes.
And, you got a minimum of 2 or 3 gallons right away that the body's probably going to suck up in that period of time, depending on how dehydrated he was.
At this point, I was like, I've earned it. Yeah, I've been told not to take it too far, and after a couple of days, slow down. So I'm thinking, I'm not even half a day in, so I got nothing to worry about right now. Woke up that morning, about 260. So just from those few meals and a few glasses of water, I was already up 30 pounds. All right? Then, we're still under the 24-hour period. Then, that morning, I went to Denny's.
Here we go.
I had cinnamon roll pancakes, bacon, hash browns, sunny side up eggs. Walked across the street back to my hotel, still peckish. Had a cinnamon roll bagel with lots of cream cheese and some orange juice.
Can you pause it? I think some of the breathing is coming from his camera guy.
I think so.
I'm hearing the camera guy wheeze a little bit too. See if you can skip forward a little bit. I think he showed like edema, like in his leg and like all kinds of other stuff. Maybe we could see if there's
So he went on to eat hella food though.
Yeah.
5-day onslaught.
Let's see.
I work, so don't take this the wrong way.
Oh, he's taking his pants off.
Trying to glorify
Hey,
how
now.
much water retention I have going on right now.
Wow.
Just took an
His
aspirin.
knees look swollen.
Yeah. I think he's having a problem with balance too.
Okay.
Shit.
Yep, get all that water retention there. Look how jiggly they are too.
Oh my God. There's like no cuts in his legs.
There's
and he
no
was shredded on
water.
stage.
Yeah, there's no lines.
2 days ago, nothing but lines. Then look at the cankles. Come here, Adam. Get the cankles.
Oh, the socks.
Oh, that's nasty.
Oh,
Wow.
sock edema.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Have you? I'm guessing you've experienced sock edema.
Oh, yeah.
I never have.
Yeah, that's
been farting every 5 minutes.
Oh, there we go.
If you came to the meet and greet today, there's a very good chance I let off a big fart while I shook your hand. It was Larry Meals, it wasn't me. Humbly apologize. Wait a second.
Oh my gosh.
That fart was not a paid actor. So I'll do a couple poses for you.
He farted like on cue. That was pretty
That
good.
was amazing.
Now he's dying laughing. He still looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
I didn't think give me an ugly sport. Okay, do a back double by.
If he doesn't shit himself here.
Okay, monster.
All right, you can take this down.
Yeah.
Shit.
Can't believe you farted on our show.
Damn. 53 pounds.
Yeah. It is crazy. I mean, I knew a guy, a trainer I used to work with, Sean. He would prep. He would get down to like 170 something on stage. And then literally within a week, he'd gain about 40 pounds. He'd get up to like 210, 220. Was never good though, because his cheeks were huge. He'd have edema, but like he just couldn't ever control that Posto binge. And that's not a good place to be. It's a tough place to be. So you got to be careful.
It takes just the right person to do like a bodybuilding show or to prep for any of these kind of shows. And I think it can be great for certain individuals. It really worked out really well for me. I did one show and got myself in good shape. And then I've stayed within like striking distance of that body weight ever since. I think maybe the most I might have weighed above what I weighed on stage, which was like 230 or 235 or somewhere in that range. I think the most I weighed was maybe 15 or 20 pounds above that.
Yeah.
I remember about a month after the show, one of my goals was to not be over 20 pounds heavier. And 1 month later, I was right on target, right in the right spot. And then from there, I was like, all right, let me lose another 10 and always be around 10 pounds within that body weight. And this worked out great. And that was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. But some people really have a hard time with that rebound. But luckily for me, I was around people that already have done shows before. And they told me to kind of watch out for that. And then Hani Rambad, who he helped me in my bodybuilding prep with the diet and stuff like that, he was like, you really have to be careful.
Yeah.
He's like, because you used to be a big guy, you love to eat, and you're also now more on the low carb side. So he didn't give me a lot of carbs when I followed his program, because he's like, I don't know what will happen if we give you carbs, and we don't have time to find out. So he's like, you're not going to eat a lot of carbs for this prep. I was like, okay, I'm used to that anyway. It's not a big deal. But after the show, when it's like game on, time to eat whatever you want, I had to just be cautious. It just couldn't be like an all-out onslaught every day. And so I think I took like 2 weeks off of being like on any particular diet. And that actually was helpful too, rather than like being like, okay, 3 days from now, I'm going to be back on point, starting back on Monday or Tuesday or something. I'm going to try to force this issue. And probably also helpful that I didn't have to diet that long. You know, some of these guys are dieting for a really long time. I think I dieted for like 8 weeks. But I can't imagine. I mean, some of them are doing 16, some of them are doing 20 weeks. And not only a caloric deficit, but also a lot of training.
Yeah.
A lot of energy being expended while you're doing it. So the other thing, getting back on track with being as fat as possible, you want to make sure that you never park your car far away from any place. Make sure you get right up close to the door.
No extra steps.
Yeah, no extra steps. And you want to be part of the 98% of people that choose to not take the stairs when they have the option, even though 100% of the people are aware that taking the stairs would be a healthier choice. You don't want to be part of those 2%ers. So make sure you don't take the stairs, because that might burn too many calories too.
Now, we talked to countless professionals on this podcast about the importance of strong, functional feet. And chances are that your years of wearing narrow toe box shoes have weakened your feet, and they're probably not functioning the way they should. Boo. That's why we've partnered with Palua. They're the first casual 5-finger shoe that's flat, has a wide toe box, and has 5 fingers that you can stick your little toesy woesies into so that they can help bring back that toe space so your toes will start to move and function the way they should. And if they do, that'll allow you to be a better, stronger athlete. Andrew, how can they get them?
Yes, that's over at peluva.com/powerproject. That's PELUVA.com/powerproject. And at checkout, enter promo code PowerProject15 to save 15% off your order. Again, peluva.com/powerproject. Links in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
On a note of like just sheer convenience, because you have the foods that you really like to eat a lot of, keep them close by. So always have some food in the car, have some like maybe snacks in the glove, have anything that you could possibly want, just like you showed all those legendary and Quest bars, but instead at home have it be the Snickers, the Ritz crackers, anything that you typically like to snack on. Keep it in your cabinet.
Nature's Way, what is it?
Nature's Valley granola bars.
You gotta meal prep this shit. This is serious.
Yeah, because whenever you feel the urge to want to have it, if it's right there, you can have it whenever you'd like. And that'll just make it so easy.
That's a great meal prep. You just like rip the top of the box open and just throw it into some Tupperware.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't, though, like one of the best things you could do is Nature Valley granola bars crushed into some cereal of your choice, whether it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch. My choice was Raisin Bran Crunch because they had the clusters. 2 or 3 of those bars, crunch it, add some carnation malted milk, mix. You're going to have a hell of a ride.
It's so sad, all the fat things I've done. It really is.
Did something come to mind? I feel like something nostalgic.
There's a little bit of shame in that look, too.
Yeah. Just like taking cereal and like seeing like what'll happen with it, taking cereal and like pouring it on like ice cream, like taking like Cocoa Puffs or something or Cocoa Pebbles.
No, I do that shit with the
dumping them on
all the time.
Yeah, dumping them on some Ben and Jerry's ice cream, which already has so much other crap in it.
Wait, how did you dump the cereal on the ice cream dry? Like, or was the...
Yeah.
Well, so when you are an ice cream lover,
yes,
you microwave your ice cream.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you get... Yeah, you soften it up a little bit.
Okay,
and then you pour whatever candy that you want in there.
That's
or candies that you want in there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, don't do this if you're trying to gain weight. But like when I make my Ninja Creamy ice cream that has protein and it's not too calorically dense. But yeah, when I do the mix-ins, I'll put like Reese's like peanut butter cereal inside that, so it adds a little bit of flavor. And then I put a little bit on top, so it adds even more flavor. So it's like the chocolate steak shake ice cream that I like to make, and then I'll put the peanut butter stuff all around it, and it's really good and extremely satisfying. But it's not on topic for today, so don't do that.
That is something that you guys should do. You should get a Ninja Creamy. My girl's on prep, and she has like literally a creamy every single day.
Isn't that crazy? That's so cool.
And it's like
she's looking shredded.
She is. She's
awesome.
Much leaner than she's been in past preps, and she's holding more muscle. But she's eating an ice cream every single day.
You can't wait for her to get that fluff back. That's so great.
The other day she's like, "You want me to be 170?" I'm like, I mean, if you did, I'd like it.
And you're like, "Wouldn't hurt my feelings if you're 180."
It's all right. I still love her. I still find her attractive, even though she's like lighter. It's fine.
She might get booted out. She's got like shredded abs.
She has abs now.
Oh, that's
great. She's lean. Yeah. So.
And then when does she compete?
First show's I think 11 weeks away now.
Oh shit, she's already in that good a shape, and she's got 11 more weeks to go.
Yeah, her coach is Paul Revelia. He's been doing an amazing job versus her prior coach, who I'm not going to name because I had.
Paul doesn't know shit about getting really fat.
He doesn't. He's never really been
Christ, fat. Paul. He's got. Hopefully, listens to the show.
He does.
He can learn some tips on how to get real fat.
He does.
He's been shredded forever, that guy.
He gets in and out. Like he'll get really shredded and then he'll get into like good shape, but then he'll get shredded again. I think it's cool though because like he's shown like he's in his 40s, late 40s or something.
Natural bodybuilder forever.
Yeah, and he's done a great job for himself, but I think he's done a great job with his female competitors because I've paid very close attention to how he's been working with her, and I've just been keeping my mouth shut. But he does a good job, and that makes me so happy.
That's
because
great.
Again, her prior coach had so much shit to say, but because she was in prep, I didn't want to necessarily like badmouth her coach. But Paul, chef's kiss. Great coach.
That's awesome. What are some other ways we can get fat? We got a couple more ways.
Yeah.
We want to keep the activity low. I mean, what do sumo wrestlers do? Sumo wrestlers actually sleep a lot, interestingly enough.
And they are fairly athletic for being as big as
that's
they are.
true.
They can they have that little, the
Yeah, they're mobile.
yeah. So,
I don't even know if they're not always as big as they used to be.
really? You think they're smaller than?
There's some of the guys that are like dominating aren't as heavy. It's kind of disappointing.
That is. Yeah. Well, how do you
Maybe going to like Walmart would be a good idea because like there's a lot of fat people there. Maybe you can learn a lot
some
from them.
inspiration? Yeah, just follow them around and just pick up everything that they pick up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how do they make cows bigger? Like, what do they feed them?
The traditional meal for a sumo wrestler is a stew called chanko nabe. This is made from different meats, rice, and vegetables. Surprisingly, the stew is low in fat. The key is the large quantities of food they eat in one go. Very high carbohydrates.
They're just fucking athletes.
Yeah. So that's one thing. Eat a lot of
What was
fucking
your
carbs.
question, Andrew?
How do they make cows in? Like, how do they make them bigger?
Well, they do feed them like a bunch of stuff that's unnatural to them usually. That's how they make them really big. So I think, it's the same for humans. We eat stuff that's not real natural for us, not real great for us, and that's how you get real big. But they also feed, also with some of those cows, I don't know what's true and what's not true, but I think they also give them hormones and stuff like that too. And that will help them get bigger.
Okay.
But they'll not only be like, they're not just going to be like fatter, they'll be bigger as well.
We don't want that, right?
No.
We want the fat percentage to be a little bit higher.
Yeah, maybe instead of injecting, maybe instead of getting like testosterone for HRT, maybe estrogen or something like that. Or
yeah, because you'll start developing.
You'll hold water.
Yeah, maybe some breast tissue. Will
maybe
start
take birth control pills. I think they have estrogen in them. I think. I don't know.
I would imagine so. Or they do something.
How about just taking tests and not working out?
Yeah.
Doesn't that stuff make you hungry?
Make you bloated. Oh, you could take that growth hormone thing. What's that?
MK677.
MK677 makes you really hungry, right?
Yeah. The only problem though is that it will help you with your sleep, and we don't want that. So you have to be very, very careful if you're going to take. I forgot the actual term for it, but it's a MK677. It's a GH secretagogue. There you go. You're welcome.
I forget what it is that dogs have, but they have some sort of thing like that doesn't like tell them to stop. Like some dogs will just keep eating.
Yeah.
Thankfully, mine don't have that.
Yeah.
Your dogs will stop?
They'll stop easily. They don't get. They have great. Yeah.
They get full and they're just like, I'm good.
They're good. Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird. It's like some dog owners I've seen that like they're super strict with like how much their dog eats. And then so like the second that they put food down, they just destroy it.
My dogs eat once a day.
Yeah, our dog, he just has his food there all day long. He doesn't touch it till like once a day, but it's on his own. Like he does it by himself.
I'm curious, the other pet owners, like how many times a day do your dogs eat? Yeah, because like none of my dogs have any type of health issues. But they just
are any of them overweight?
No.
Yeah, mine either.
Yeah, but they get so they run with each other and shit. So who knows? Anyway,
you gotta be careful with Daisy. I don't want her to bulk up to 6 pounds.
That dog is comically small now.
So cute.
She eats twice a day. We feed her breakfast and dinner and just kind of normal. She always wants food though. Like anytime I have food, I think that's normal though, right? Dogs kind of always.
They'll always eat.
Yeah.
She just like looks at me when I'm eating, She doesn't like bark and go crazy, but she's like, she'd be pumped if I gave her some.
She expects some morsels. Yeah. If there's anything that you guys think we missed as far as, gaining as much fat as you possibly can, please let us know in the comments below. Give us some suggestions for what people could do. Because there's a lot of ways to do this. And there's not only one way of getting as fat as possible, but we like to share as many as we can.
And be careful with your mental health. Make sure that you don't get on like make sure you don't get like positive momentum and make sure you don't feel good about yourself. Just like try to keep things negative, like a lot of negative self-talk. You could actually like meditate, but instead of like a normal meditation where you're trying to calm yourself down and maybe tell yourself positive things, you'd be more on the negative side, give yourself a little bit more anxiety. A little bit more stress. Scrolling a lot would be great. spending a lot of time on the internet. Video games seem to be a great way for people to gain a lot of weight too.
Especially the ones where you play with like a lot, like friends and an online big community, because then your community is online versus real life. So that's a great habit.
I like where you're going with that.
Yeah. But also when it came to what was the thing you mentioned before
Negative self-talk and
the feed. If you can, just start looking up different types of really shitty recipes on Instagram, whether it's recipes for, different types of brownies, cakes, whatever. But just look those things up, keep looking them up so that your feed is now filled with different types of creations you can make to enjoy at home.
Super hungry.
Yeah. And then it'll just be much easier for you to find something you like, and then you can create that trash in your own home.
Yeah, and then along both of those lines, also like this is going to be interesting. Like, I'm curious what you guys think about this. Is like get really, really deep into politics and pick one side hard, so that way when you open up Twitter and everybody on the opposition starts yelling at you, you get really stressed and like your anxiety starts to build up more,
And then you have to eat.
and then you got to eat your feelings away. God, dude, we're so good at this. Holy
This is
crap.
really interesting. Yeah, which side is fatter? The left or the right? I went to 2 Trump rallies, and I can tell you that people were pretty fat there. So I don't know what the left has up their sleeve, but I don't know if they can compete.
There's some pretty big liberals also.
Yeah.
They're big people on both sides.
Big people everywhere.
What do you think? Actually, because didn't they just say that fitness people tend to be conservative?
Yes.
But I know a lot of I'm fairly liberal, so I know other liberal fitness people. So who knows? But yeah, apparently.
Again, I think it's just the feed. Like if you're, I guess if you're more right leaning, you'll see stuff that's like more positive for your side, right? Or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But the other thing I was going to say, just make sure you don't get like any sun. Yeah, you want to stay indoors, stay under the blue light all the time.
Andrew.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good one.
Yeah, because it's what you guys were talking about, like, especially with video games. Like, the more video games you play, the more you're going to stay inside. And the more inside you stay, the less sun you're going to get. The less sun you're going to get, the more weight you're going to gain. So it's just a super awesome domino effect.
Stay inside and don't develop a community. Don't go out and talk to a lot of people.
No humans.
And eat a lot of food. This sounds weird. That sounds like super familiar.
Is there someone you know?
No, it just sounds like we went through that already at some point, but maybe not. Maybe I'm way off. I don't know.
It could have been during a time where like all children gain like 50% more weight or some shit like that. Yeah.
Y'all are too much.
I think you just hit him.
Y'all are too much.
We hit an all-time low, everybody. Nsima
We were just
signed
talking
off.
about convenience and stuff. You don't even have to go outside because of DoorDash, so you get away from all the sun.
I do want to say though,
And you stay protected.
on the other side of the video game thing though, a good hack is to play single player games. Like I like single player games. I don't play online games anymore just because like they get you too wrapped in where you can build. Just like if you do want to play games and not get too into it, play single player games, dog. Back to the topic at hand.
Oh man, this is I think another topic or another conversation, maybe even off air. But I was talking to Russell about video games.
Yeah.
And he said something, and I just stopped and I looked at him. And I was like, "Dude, you make so much sense, but it makes me so angry. I don't want to agree with you." And he's like, "I know, right?" But he was just talking about like even single player games, whatever it may be, like the trauma that it causes you. Like, sure, you're enjoying, you're having fun, but you're still kind of getting revved up for it when you're supposed to be like trying to like wind down. And he's like, your body's just going to accept that either way, and it's going to take that on, and it's going to take a toll. And I'm like, shit, you're right.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Like,
Getting revved up.
Like, especially if it's like a game with jump scares, like you're going to take that in and it's going to take a toll no matter what. Even if you quote enjoy it and you have fun, like you are still not slowing down. Your heart rate's elevating. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of stimulation. So you're not really slowing down anymore.
I don't agree that much.
Yeah, that's why I said maybe a
scary
conversation
movie.
off air. I think it'd be cool to have though.
Yeah, no, I mean, and again, since you just mentioned on air though, someone's going to respond. So I mean, the thing is like, think about movies. When you're watching an exciting movie, a Marvel movie, a fucking scary movie, your heart rate gets up, jump scares. It's like you're not calm the whole time. I know some people that play certain games where it's like It's pretty chill. It's a puzzle or it's whatever. Not every game gets your heart rate up and gets you super excited.
I haven't noticed like a negative side effect to this, but I have watched stuff at night before that's about like serial killers. And I'm like, is this a good idea? I go to bed. I end up being fine, but I'm like, is that, or at least I think I'm fine. Maybe I'm not. Maybe it's not a good idea. But yeah, I'm like, is this a good thing to go to bed with?
Yeah,
like, my last memory of the day.
Yeah, before my son took control of the control and we can't watch anything that we ever want ever, we had to make sure we didn't watch any kind of like suspenseful, like crime, whatever it may be. Or even like, you guys remember that show Bloodline?
I remember the name, but I never watched
so good. But man, it just when it was done and you weren't no longer living in that world, you're so happy because you're so relieved that you're not stuck under all that stress that whole family was under.
Yeah.
But my wife,
I know that show.
That was a good show. My wife would have dreams about whatever we watched, and she'd wake up in like a panic and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, we can't watch this shit anymore before bed. Like it's it, we're done.
Yeah.
You got to watch it early.
Sleep is something we talk about all the time on the podcast because it's your biggest driver in terms of your health. And you sleep for a third of your life. So you want to make sure that your sleep is optimized and that you're taking every advantage to make that recovery period as strong and as effective as possible. That's why we've partnered with 8 Sleep mattresses. It's the Tesla of beds. You can control the temperature of your side of the bed and your partner's side of the bed. And the cool thing is, over here at the podcast, we're all sweaty sleepers. I used to wake up in a puddle of my own sweat, and I can probably say the same for Andrew and Mark. So that's a thing of the past because now my bed is cool. I wake up every morning feeling refreshed, and there's so many things that this mattress does and tracks that it is just ridiculous. So check them out. Andrew, how can they get it?
Yes, you guys got to head over to 8sleep.com/power project. And when you do, you'll automatically receive $150 off of your order. Again, that's at 8sleep.com/power project. Links in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
Yeah, I don't have nightmares about that shit, but me and my girl have been watching a bit of American Horror Story recently. And she's been having these recurring dreams where we killed somebody together. And I'm trying to figure out a way to get away with it. And
that's kind of what Bloodline was like. And that's the dreams that she would have. Yeah.
But we keep watching it. A funny thing that Mark made me remember since you mentioned sleep. I don't remember this happening, but last night apparently like I was cuddling with her at 2 a.m. and she was awake, and she said that I slowly put my arm around her neck and I started practicing a choke. I started practicing a choke on her.
That could be so bad.
And then she said she slowly took my arm, put it away, and then like kind of went away. And then I took my hand and I just put it on her butt. So I tried practicing a choke on her and didn't realize it.
That shit's dangerous.
That shit's funny.
That's awesome.
I don't remember a single thing, man.
I know Andy will sometimes like swim in her sleep.
Yeah.
Her shoulders will go back and forth. And she'll be like, I'm like, I remember like first time she did that, I was like, what is she doing? I wonder. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But I haven't dreamed that she's swimming.
Oh my God.
Yeah, thank goodness for mouth tape because I used to talk a lot in my sleep too.
That can be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yep. Do
you do shit in your sleep? Like, do you like fucking?
I have the mouth tape on, but I used to talk in my sleep. I would laugh a lot.
Oh God, that's scary.
Apparently I laugh hysterically too.
Yeah, I wake up that way.
I've never woken up, but
yeah, I'll wake up like laughing, and I'm like, "What the fuck was I laughing?" Every once in a while, I'll remember what it was, and it'll make me laugh even harder because it was like something stupid going on in a dream.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, I've like fucking like bench pressed in my fucking sleep or whatever and had that happen. And I'll be a sleepwalker every once in a while. I'll catch myself, be like, yo, dude, fucking hands off, bro.
I'll sometimes wake up with my hand on my dick. Not whacking though, but like that's a new one actually. Cool.
Yeah, I'm like, oh
I wasn't
shit.
sure if you're going to say that or not because I remember you said that before.
Yeah, that's true.
This means you got to get one out, dog.
I've never heard anybody really talk about it before, but I can't keep my hands off myself.
All right, guys, if you're a sleepwalker, let us know. Like if you wake up and you just got nut in your hand, please let us know because this is interesting. I've never heard of this.
Be over it. You know? You're gonna be 47 years old. I figure I'd be like, I've gotten most of it out of there, but I guess not.
Hey, man, at least you're doing it when you're asleep. You know, that I can't blame yourself for that. It's just that means it's a necessity. Means it has to happen.
It's all built up.
There was a woman I was dating in the past where it was interesting. She was a great person, but she'd wake up And I'd wake up and I'd just see her sitting up like this and speaking. I'd just be like,
Ooh.
she's cool too, but she would really like have her eyes open and speaking. It's different.
Scary.
That's
when
different.
you have kids, they scare the shit out of you. They just like come by your bed and they just stand there.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like waking up and you're like, ah!
Oh, you mean like the kids are awake? This is not a sleepwalking
Yeah,
kid.
like your kids just like walking and they're just like in your room and I don't know, they're trying to wake you up. Maybe they got scared or something. They're not like crying or anything, but you're just kind of like half asleep and then you kind of like open your eyes and there's someone standing there. You're like, ah! You're like, what the hell? Like, sorry, what do you need? You know?
Yeah, they're always in like a really perfect spot that just makes them a shadow.
Yeah.
Like they're just a silhouette. You're like, whoa, what the fuck?
I feel like
exactly. Like there's weird lighting right in that one spot.
I know you guys are very controlled because I feel like if I had a kid and they did that and I was half asleep and I realized that kid would learn not to do that very quickly. I started thinking if they were close, I'd fucking push their ass away real quick, and if they were far away, I'd attack that motherfucker. I really think so. Like whenever Elise has done that, have you not like reacted? Were you just that
no,
cool?
it's with Jasmine back like when she was a lot younger.
Yeah,
she would just and then like just long hair, so it's just like a silhouette of, kind of like was it The Ring?
Oh God, that's the stuff. Yeah,
those kind of vibes. Yeah, I'm just like, what's going on here?
Yeah,
and then I eventually realized it was her. Yeah.
All right, we gave you guys a lowdown on how to get fatter. Hopefully this has been helpful. Let us know how you utilize this to your advantage. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, which I know you did because you got this far, then click this one right here because you'll enjoy this one just as much. And if you're choosing to still listen to me currently as I'm telling you to go over here and watch this video, well, hey, that just means you like the sound of my voice. And well, I'll just keep seducing you right here.